My turn. All right, so have you ever heard of the Hinterkaifek Murders?
No.
Yeah, and that's a German name that I probably butchered, so I came prepared so that we could get this straight from here on out, see if we can get it right. That's exactly the same way.
There's no fucking way I'm going to say that shit.
Hinterkaifek. And I'll probably butcher it, but anyway, you know what it is. So Hinterkaifek was a farm that was located in Bavaria, excuse me. So let me just read this off so you can get it. Hinterkaifek was a small farmstead situated between the Bavarian towns of, Ingolstadt and Schrobenhausen. That one's probably perfectly on. Approximately 7 kilometers north of Munich, and has become infamous as the scene of one of the most gruesome and puzzling crimes in German history.
You know, that's interesting because it's a good thing that, there's so little horrific things that have come out of Germany that this is probably just like flowing with information. It's like, holy shit, one bad thing, thousands of years.
So on the evening of March 31st, 1922, the 6 inhabitants of the farm were killed with a mattock, and these murders remain unsolved. Until now. I'll get into that later.
What's a mattock?
Yeah, it's a mattock. Okay, so it's like a pickaxe.
Oh, okay.
But instead of the pick part of it, it's like a wide, flat, dull. Google it, dude. It's a mattock, and if you get hit with it, it will kill you.
Okay. I mean, I assumed we got dead people, so right. I assume it's going to kill something.
All right. So Hinterkaifek is the name of the farm. That it was given to the name of the farm. Hinter is something I believe, and I could be completely wrong, but like secluded. This whole place was surrounded by forest, and so you can picture. I want to set the scene for you.
Sure.
So basically, it's a secluded farm in the middle of nowhere. Perfect place for a murder. And I'm going to give you the quick players here. We've got 63-year-old. Oh, were you going to say something?
Hinter means behind.
Behind. No.
Yeah, hinter, behind.
Well, behind the forest.
Behind the forest, man. A farm would be behind a forest.
Well, technically it's in the middle of the forest, but this is my fucking story, so fuck off. Anywho, so we got the key players here. We got Andreas Gruber, who was the father. He was 63 years old. Cecilia Gruber, Cazilia.
Dude, pick American crime.
Cecilia, right? Gruber was Andreas' wife. She was 72. Oh, what a stud. 10 years younger. 9 years younger. Victoria Gabriel was the daughter to the two of them. And then Cecilia, another Cecilia, fantastic, was the daughter of Victoria. Victoria was 35, Cecilia was 7, and then Josef, that's right, Josef was 2 years old, and he was the son to Victoria. Now, Josef is spelled with a J, so to us Kentucky folk, it's Joseph. But
Yeah.
and then there was the 6th person, who was Maria Baumgartner. She was the maid.
She fucking did it, dude.
Right.
She's the one who fucking did it,
she's
dude.
one of the 6 that are dead.
Well, I mean, maybe she fucked up and slipped on the pickaxe thing. The
mattock.
The mattock. The muddler.
Maria was 44. All right, so I'm going to kind of jump through. We'll get into the actual crime here. But basically, on this farm, 6 months prior to the murders, a bunch of wacky shit started happening.
Like
Spooky
World
shit.
War I?
Well, that is going on at the time, absolutely. Way to go, history! Way to go, history buff. Actually, Victoria's husband, Carl Gabriel, was in World War I and said to have died, possibly. But again, don't jump ahead, man. You know the fucking story? Don't jump ahead. So 6 months prior to the murders, they had a maid who quit. She dipped out in the middle of the night, ran out because she said the place is haunted. Well, time out, what?
I fucking know this story.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do, man. I literally just watched something on this. Okay, all right, sorry.
Hold on.
Do your spiel.
For real?
Do your spiel, yeah.
Oh, man. Awesome.
They kept hearing weird noises in the attic.
She did. Well, she dipped out, so maybe. But how many stories have weird noises in the attic?
I mean, their truck was gone and shit. Yeah, I know. Okay.
All right, but this farm has a known history, and so starts with the haunting. So she dipped out. Now, Maria Baumgartner, when she started, had no idea the place was haunted. So, mind you, she was also mentally and physically handicapped. So anyway, but weird things start to happen. Strange newspaper was found on the property. I don't know what strange newspaper fucking mean. But that's literally what it said in quotations. Strange newspaper.
This is from Japan.
It's a New York Post.
The Kaiser didn't say anything about us getting the new Japan news.
So the strange newspaper was found. The key to the house went missing, which honestly, that's not that fucking strange. I lose my keys like all the time, but it was in there. This one, okay. So the tool shed had a scratch mark on the lock, like someone had trying to pick the lock. That's somewhat suspicious. Then they did have kids, though. I mean, so
Yeah.
And a dog, but it was like a little Shih Tzu or a Pomeranian. Shih Tzu. I think it was a Pomeranian, actually. I want it to be a Shih Tzu because it's more fun to say it, but I think it's a Pomeranian. Let's see. Oh, well, this is pretty obvious. There was a man with a mustache that they saw standing on the edge of the forest observing them. So, I mean, I think he did it probably. But they didn't actually... What's weird is I tried to find out more about this dude, but apparently maybe they were seeing things. They thought there was a dude. It was noted, so I wanted to mention it. But the creepiest thing, in my opinion, was the set of footprints that was found by Andreas was leading to the house. But there were no footprints leading away from the house. That means somebody came and they didn't leave. If I needed to lay that out for you. It's creepy as fuck.
I understand. I'm letting you do your volley.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm letting you do your volley.
All right, fair enough. All right, so those are the main things that they said started to happen, and the family was kind of spooked. They didn't call the cops.
Okay, then who the fuck did they tell this to?
That's a good question.
Like, they're not calling the cops, so what? Are they telling their neighbor?
I think it was the neighbor, Lorenz.
Okay, so they're telling the neighbor, okay, again, suspect number one.
Actually, we're jumping way ahead, but Lorenz is absolutely a suspect. In fact, the most likely suspect. The dude's the neighbor.
Yay!
Yeah, who did, in fact, have a key to their home.
Okay.
So, all right.
Okay, we got one set of footprints going to the house.
Yeah, okay, so anyway, and I'm jumping ahead, and I'm not going to get into details of dates and times because that's boring as fuck, but we'll
was
jump
it
ahead.
in the snow?
It was in March.
Okay, well, my question is, they have one set of footprints in.
I would assume.
Okay, so you would assume that it would have to be in the snow.
In the snow.
To have footprints in.
Yeah, they were killed on March 31st, found on April 4th. So,
okay.
I don't know whether in fucking...
If anyone knows
Bavaria,
the land
but
and weather in the 1920s for a moderate winter,
please let us know so we can fucking do this.
Okay, so we'll assume
it's snow. Well, if you see footprints, yes, I assumed because I don't know what else. Sand, mud, yeah, maybe,
but I mean, I feel like
rain would wash it.
How would you fucking know?
I don't know, but it's spooky. Just fucking go with it, dude. They found...
I'm ingesting. I have to know the details.
I can never tell a fucking crime story again. You know either the end already or fucking you question everything.
Well, I mean, that's how I know the end because I make decent observations into the question.
All right, that's fair. All right, so anyway, skip ahead. Some weird shit started happening. Victoria, who was a big choir singer, didn't show up to church. So that was starting to get noticed. Let's see, Cecilia, whatever, did not show up in school. There's a red flag.
Okay.
And this is a pretty normal family. Pretty nothing bizarre. Mail was piling up at the post office. One of the neighbors went to go check. There was no signs of life. The dog was tied up in the barn, which is kind of strange because it was a house dog. So that's kind of weird.
Why would you kill the
but
dog?
smoke was seen coming from the chimney, so people assumed that they were there. They didn't go to check. That's why the time went by. And the livestock was fed and well kept.
Okay.
So, I mean, fuck, they don't take care of themselves. You know what I mean? So these are the reasons why people didn't go check. Jump to, were you going to say something?
I mean,
super smart ass, I assume.
the bit about the livestock being well taken care of. Like, how long can livestock really live and you're going to be like, that's healthy? You know what I'm saying? It could be like a month
we're not
out.
Farmers,
It could be like a month out and they'd be like, man, that fucking cow is doing pretty good. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
So, I mean, I'm not the investigative mind behind the people who are not looking into this. I mean, they did get found, 4 days?
So technically the lack of investigating on my part, or research
No.
So who knows the actual time frame of how long they were said missing?
No, I mean, the reason
I could probably find it, but I didn't.
The reason all these fucking crimes still go unsolved this day, like, is because of the shitty investigation they did at the time. Like,
that's true.
So, I mean, the fact that you don't know those answers is probably indicative of the fact that nobody fucking knew those answers, all right?
Yeah, or I just didn't take enough time to scroll down on.
They always had, like,
Wikipedia.
one drunk cop who didn't want to do his fucking job. And he's like, yeah, the fucking cows are cool. You know? There was smoke coming out of the chimney.
Well, it's fair.
The Kaiser told me not to worry about them. Like,
he referenced the Kaiser a lot.
Well, it's Germany. They had a Kaiser.
They did. All right, so I believe it was the neighbor, Lawrence, who his nephew, somebody he sent over to check on the family. And they noticed that they weren't there. The house looked lived in. It was strange. But they came back, reported nothing else. So he ended up going over there himself. Okay, and looked around. So let's just jump to the crime scene, what he found. Basically, in the garage. Yeah, they had a garage. In the barn.
In the barn. It's 1922. They could have had some shit.
They could have, but they didn't. It was a barn.
Wasn't the dog in the
It was a fucking barn that was tied up, not in the garage, in the barn.
It was in the barn.
Yeah.
Anyway, barn is just a garage.
The barn door is cracked open, and he walks in, and he sees 4 dead bodies stacked on top of each other, covered under hay. All 4 of the bodies had been bludgeoned in the head or face with said mattock. And the 4 bodies were the mommy, the daddy, the daughter, and the granddaughter. So that's Andreas, Cecilia, Victoria, and Cecilia.
Okay.
All right, and then they go into the house, where they also find Maria, the maid, bludgeoned in her bed.
And it's like week 1 on her job,
yeah,
though.
No, actually, the night before, she started the night before she got killed.
Fuck.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, so it's her ex-boyfriend, man.
Bum luck.
That's the fucking answer here. It's her fucking ex-boyfriend. He gets pissed. He goes in, murders everybody. He's like, come home with me, Oksana, or whatever the fuck her name is.
Maria, dude.
Maria.
That's the most normal name in the entire
Yeah. And then he's like, she says no, and he just kills her and then decides to have a fucking hot meal and leave because apparently it snows in mid-March there.
Yeah, it does. Clearly the footprint. So he goes inside, finds Maria. Now you fucked me up. Oksana? No, Maria.
He finds
dude.
the 2 kids.
Maria maid.
Okay, yeah, Maria maid.
Well, okay, she's dead in the bed, and then the 2-year-old, Iosif, unfortunately as well, in the bassinet, also killed.
Yeah.
He was not killed with the mattock, but something blunt to the head, they said, which is still awful.
Sweet.
Yeah, I know, right? That's the one thing I was like, oh, fuck, why is the kid going now?
You're coming in hot on the first one with baby death.
I told you. Like, okay, so technically...
Okay, so...
I could have left that one out, I admit. When I read it, I said, that's fucking... I mean,
well, don't leave it out. I mean, it's part of the story.
Yeah. So 4 in the barn were bludgeoned, and this is actually the most disturbing part.
There's more?
Dude, yeah. So they were... After they realized that they were killed on March 31st, they were found on April 4th. So they were found in the barn, covered up with hay.
Stacked.
Yeah, stacked on top of each other, which is horrible. And the youngest, Cecilia, they found with clumps of her own hair in her hand, which they later decided that discovered that she had been alive for hours after being whacked with the mattock and pulled her own hair out, which to me is fucking awful. Probably actually witnessing the rest of her family being killed, and so therefore out of pure terror pulling her hair out, and that to me was the one that was like,
I'm going to go with she probably slept through that mid-coma, and she was pulling her hair out because her fucking head hurt from getting smacked in the face with a fucking yard tool.
Wow, that's okay.
I'm gonna water down my fucking psyche with the idea that she was out of ibuprofen, and the only way that she knew to get rid of the headache was yanking the fucking
pulling
place.
The hair. Yeah, like
that
my
hurts.
brain itches.
Like, so let's go. I'm
glad you went that way
myself
because I literally went the opposite and saw her like pulling her hair out. And anyway, it's awful and it sucks. So that's the crime scene. Now, questions. And this is pretty stupid, but I figured you're going to give me the answers anyway. You know, who lit the chimney, who tied up the dog, who took care of the livestock, and there was also evidence of meals being eaten, had been eaten.
I did eating it there.
We live in Kentucky, y'all.
Yeah.
Evidence of meals being eaten, and then evidence of the bed being slept in. Obviously, the person who left the footprints came in, murdered them. Well, actually, think about this, though. The footprints were found. They weren't dead, so that person probably snuck in. They were living in their house, who knows how long, because they didn't really tell me how long before they died the footprints were found. Murdered them, and then stayed and hung out and made a meal and took care of the fucking dog and the horses.
The first 4 probably started stinking, so he took them out back, fucking stacked them up. But here's my issue with all that, is them talking about the house being lived in. Like, who the fuck goes through their house before they get murdered and like, I gotta tidy up the house.
Clean up real quick.
Yeah, like, I mean, if they just didn't do the fucking dishes the night before, it's gonna look lived in.
Well, I'm pretty sure that there was a time frame. Like, in other words, they could tell when the bodies were actually, when they had been killed versus when the potato salad was left out.
So they've got that kind of forensic background,
Yeah,
but yet they can't come up with a fucking suspect to put behind bars?
Actually, so who did it? So here, and
The
this
neighbor.
is, and I totally botched this because I should have talked to you about Carl Gabriel, who was the husband to Cecilia, who was in World War One.
Okay.
They said he was said to have died in World War One.
Okay.
But there
That's many
are
did.
people that say, in theory, that he faked his own death because, and this is where I totally botched it, I didn't tell you, but Andreas, the father, and the daughter, Victoria, had a little incestual thing going on there.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And the father spent a year in prison, she spent a month. So the theory is that Carl didn't die in World War One. He faked his own death, came back, murdered them out of just rage and, you know, I don't know if it's jealousy, but just because, dude, your dad fucked you and that's fucked and I'm pissed. But then there's some weird war dudes that did say they witnessed his death, but then they said that they were mental, and so nobody fucking knows what really happened with that. So Carl is one of the suspects, and that's a fairly good motive.
Okay.
My wife's dad.
Yeah,
I'm
not arguing with the motive there. It's fairly flimsy on the we don't know section, because like he had to go somewhere.
Yeah, well, they didn't. You know, in World War One, think about it. How many people died with the improper burial, or you know, that were nameless bodies. You know, what I mean, so there's no way to prove that.
Okay.
So it's a theory, and it's probably horseshit.
Okay.
All right.
Again, we're not cracking this case.
We're not going to crack this case. It's more of just talking about it because I honestly find it fucking fascinating.
Okay.
And you've kind of butchered most of that for me.
Sorry.
But fucking, we're going to keep going. So Lorenz Schlittenbauer, I probably nailed that, is the neighbor. So, dude, he had a key.
Okay.
So, or if he lost his key, that's where the other lost key was. The dude knew the house.
Right.
They also said that the bodies could have been lured in one by one, because you think one person with a pickaxe, how do you murder 4 people in a barn with one mattock? I mean, one at a time.
Right.
So maybe it was somebody that, in my head, I'm going, well, dude fucking did it, because it's like, they knew him. They trusted him to go into the barn with him or something.
Right.
Right? So let's see. Oh, Lorenz also was a possible suspect because he had a little fling with the daughter, and apparently she hit him up for alimony at some point. There's a fucking really good thing. Oh, and the biggest one is the dog freaked out. No, not the biggest. The second, the dog freaked out when he came in to help move the bodies. Like the dog, like freaked out, like in a anger, you know, because hey, you're the one who fucking did it.
Right. Okay.
And then when he moved the bodies, he acted as though he was unfazed, is what the police seemed to. Anyway, so Lorenz is the prime suspect. And the sad thing about this whole thing is it's really anticlimactic because they don't fucking know who did it.
Yeah.
And honestly, let's see. I'm gonna end with what do you fucking think?
Well, as I said before, I do have a little, very minuscule amount of knowledge on this case.
So is this the one? Hold on. Is this the one you just fucking thought about?
Yeah.
Or you just watched something on?
Yeah. So I do know a little bit about this case, and like some of the shit like that they were coming up with like is weird. Like that
I
shit
left a lot out.
Well, that stuff to me like the house like looking lived in. Like, all right, man, maybe it was fucking cold outside. He was like a winter, and he was like, dude, I'm not fucking like. That's not as creepy to me as like. I mean, he probably got tired of dragging dead bodies outside. To be completely honest.
So he lit a fire, and
so he's like, you know what? They're upstairs in the bed. I'm gonna fucking chill here. I want to know if the fucking maid had some bullshit going on in her past, because she is the fucking question mark to me.
All right, so let's see.
Maria Schlink.
Yeah, Wikipedia here can come through, I hope. Possibly.
So never the fuck, like, all right, these people have been living here in an incestuous weirdo fucking farming relationship, mining fucking mustard gas fields or whatever the fuck. But all of a sudden this maid gets on the scene one fucking day.
Okay.
And everybody's dead.
All right,
like,
so here, and I'm doing research on the spot here. So, okay, I'm reading this from no, this is from Geiger's Daily. Maybe it's Gaggers. I don't know. Gaggers. It's not a porn site, I swear. Geiger's Dead. Anyway, we do not know if Maria Baumgarter had heard the scandalous secrets of that surround her new employers, like the thick pine trees and enclosed Hinterkaifek homestead.
quit painting me a picture, asshole.
All right, the 40-year-old was a mentally and physically disabled woman. She had never married since the death of her parents and had been forced to work as a maid. Dude, she was just a normal maid who had some mental issues. She's absolutely not a suspect.
Mental issues. I didn't say she was a suspect. I said maybe there's something in her past that came crawling up on her.
Let's see.
Like,
her
was she
sister,
really...
Franziska had found her this job for the Gruber family. Interesting.
Curious.
Whatever Maria did or did not know about her new employers, everyone else in the small town of Kaifek knew. There was something deep.
So then the sister should have fucking known, man.
There was something deeply rotten at the heart of the Gruber family.
Alright, first off.
Well, hold on. They're talking about the ghosts and then the incest. So,
yeah,
I mean, I guess that's pretty rotten. Yeah. Up in Kentucky, we don't think incest is that weird, though, right?
Yeah, we're definitely
I'm not from here, so I can fucking say it.
Alright. So, here's my thing. The story that I heard about this, the build-up behind it, like the creepy shit that happened, like building up to it, was that there was, they heard like weird scratching and moving around up in the attic, right? And it was only for like a week or two. And it was actually, that was, I think, had something to do with the original maid leaving.
Correct. She dipped out like in the middle of the night or something.
She was like, fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah.
Well, then, like, when they did an investigation on the house, they fucking found, like, that somebody had been, like, living up there.
Hence the footprints.
Right, well, I'm just adding to the milieu.
Okay.
So the idea that a transient lived there, they fucking find him. They're like, oh, you gotta get out of here. Hit the bricks.
Hit the bricks.
And he's like, I'll hit something. And he fucking goes through on a killing spree.
So wait, that's your theory?
Well, I mean, okay, so adding the son-in-law into the equation. He's running from treason charges, trying to get away. They got him hidden up in the fucking attic, you know, Anne Frank style.
Right.
And then, you know, there's all sorts of shit going around. The family's obviously, like, they're like in the news for incest and all this other whack shit, right? And, okay, the neighbor being the prime suspect, not giving a fuck that he's dragging these bodies out. Maybe he's like...
unfazed, or
maybe he's
in shock.
Well, maybe he's in shock. Maybe he's like, I fucking hate these people.
They were horrible neighbors.
They were fucking horrible neighbors. We don't know the real...
She's trying to get alimony. I mean, I didn't like her anyway.
They're all over the news. It's like, all right, man. Okay, these people are fucked. But so my thing is like, maybe it was the son-in-law, like he trying to lay low, or someone trying to lay low up there, and they got found, and then they got killed.
And then
he, you know, the family gets killed. The stacking them up in the.
They were covered by hay. It's not like they were really hidden.
Well, but I mean, I feel like
there's
the
photos.
passerby, like the neighbor who comes to like check on shit.
Right.
If you've got like, you know, the body, to me kind of seems like less like sinister and more like a necessity of hiding the crime.
Yeah.
And you know, if you're gonna hide the crime, it's like, well, fuck, I gotta figure some shit out. You're gonna stay there a day or two.
The maid was like underneath a sheet. Like, that's all he did is cover the bedsheet up. And then the son, Yosef, the little baby, he was put underneath, like, mom's dress or something like that.
Yeah.
So very, not really well hidden. Not
right.
a whole lot of...
We're not dealing with a criminal mastermind here. But
to me, it sounds like if they stayed in the house and, like, ate and everything, maybe they were twisted and they were like, I just don't want to look at it anymore. Let me just put it out of my sight. Not really hiding it. But just, I don't want to stare at it at the moment and just fucking chill.
Okay, the story would have been way weirder if he'd had the bodies, like, set up at the dinner table to finish a meal or two with
he did. I fucked it up. He did.
Yeah,
he totally did.
There was signs that they had a meal together.
Yeah, I forgot.
He had the maid strung up like a fucking marionette, and she brought them tea.
It's part 2.
You know, but, I mean, to me, this sounds like somebody got caught in the place that they weren't supposed to get caught. They killed one of them, and it was like, well, fuck. Now I got to kill the next one because I got caught.
Except for the 2-year-old. You don't have to kill the 2-year-old, who's asleep, mind you, in a bassinet.
What are you going to do with the 2-year-old? Maybe they're like, well, you're not going to...
He's not going to tell on you is what I'm saying. It's
a
fucking 2-year-old.
I mean...
Oh, I guess...
A 2-year-old can point and shit.
Yeah, that's very true.
And the other thing is, like, you don't know when anybody's going to come to this house.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put the kid out of his misery. He didn't use the murder weapon. Didn't use the matic. So the idea would be that maybe and we're saying he, but
yeah,
I'm assuming it's not the ex-maid.
It's not the ex-maid. Well,
so I mean,
we really don't know.
We don't. But the idea that he was saving the child from a more gruesome kind of death.
I don't want you to grow up without your parents. Oh yeah, he was.
Or starve to death or freeze to death. Like,
oh fuck, that makes more sense.
I don't want you to grow up with your parents.
I was like,
fuck,
he also had a heart. Poor kid.
No, jeez.
Jeez.
The Kaiser wouldn't like this at all.
All right, so let me end with this because basically they just gave up. Nobody did anything. But in 2007, students at a German police academy. Yeah, police academy. That always makes me think of the fucking police academy.
Fucking top notch right there, man.
Dude, I wish we had him. He could make fucking awesome sound effects for our podcast. Yeah, fucking...
Yeah.
All right, so the German police academy attempted to use modern forensic techniques to solve the crime. They eliminated all of the prime suspects from the initial 1920s investigation with the exception of one. But the students refused to publicly name their suspect out of respect for the living descendants. Son of a bitch.
Thanks, assholes.
Dude, why am I reading? I should have
researched it. There has to be some asshole out there from the police academy who's like, nah, it was Jim.
Wait, it says the case seemed set to remain a tantalizing, unsolved mystery until now. I can call it tantalizing, but... In their 2017 book, The Man from the Train, writer Bill James and his daughter Rachel McLaughlin James had speculated there may be a possible link to the previously unidentified American serial murderer. Fucking A. Dude, son of a bitch. In their exhaustively researched account of the man eerily similar to murders in America, the pair believe they finally identified a previously unknown serial axe murderer. So, basically, I'm not going to get into this because it's a whole nother fucking story, but Paul Mueller, the man from the train, that does not ring a bell at all.
Does lend credence to the guy who was caught, the idea that a guy got caught living in their fucking attic in the dead of winter in Bavaria.
Yeah. Well, it says Paul Mueller was a German or possibly Austrian immigrant to America. So, okay, wasn't an American, who seems to have been responsible for a string of previously unsolved murders in the first 2 decades of the 20th century. All right, so Paul Mueller did it.
Well, I mean,
that's, and again, there's literally that's a whole other fucking podcast book.
Okay, so just taking this at face value, I would say that it seems like an opportunity situation where it doesn't look planned out.
Right. Okay.
It's not well thought out.
Well,
like so had the neighbor, like you said, the neighbor had motive with the baby daddy money.
The baby daddy money.
And or the alimony. Sorry. And he had some kind of weird here nor there. I mean, to me, if they found like a bloody fucking thing in his house, like maybe.
No, it was because he lived next door. He knew the property. He had possibly.
No, I get that.
Oh, no, you know what it was? He didn't own a key, but when he went there, one of the police officers saw him use a key to open a door, and so what could have been the key that was missing, blah blah blah.
Okay.
So there's a few little things, and I probably botched it, but you know what I mean.
But here, like, if he was like
he was a good suspect.
If he was going to be the guy that like inherited the land, or he screwed them out of some farming deal or something like that, I can see him mass murdering a family.
Yeah.
Okay, it's hard to be like
the fact that the dog recognized him and then freaked out, to me, is the biggest telltale sign, because I trust dogs more than I trust people half the time.
To me, that's
I'm
actually
like, the fucking dog says he did it, dude. He did it.
That to me, also, the dog still being alive kind of actually says more to me that this was a situation that got out of hand more than a planned situation. Because if it's a rage, like if it's a blind rage where you kill a 2-year-old and you're stacking bodies and you're doing all this shit, and you're not doing it with a clean weapon, you're doing it with a smacking weapon, right? So the idea that you don't kill the dog,
yes.
Like,
why didn't you kill the dog?
Like, I mean, I'm not like pro dog killing, but the idea is like, if you're gonna kill the dog, that means like you're pissed off. Like, you killed the whole family.
The fact that
you killed a 2-year-old, but the dog is a stay of execution.
And you took the time to tie the dog up. Yeah, that's fair.
And I really feel like this is like one of those situations where like the maid caught him. And he fucking kills the maid, and then the baby's screaming. He's like, "Oh shit!" and kills the 2-year-old.
Shut the baby up real quick.
And then he's like running away. He goes out to the fucking farmhouse, and then he just like spins with this mattock thing that he finds in the corner and takes them all out.
Like they're all hanging out having a party in the farm or in the barn.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, he's running away from them because he's just killed the maid and the 2-year-old. They're chasing after him. He runs into the barn.
The whole family's chasing him.
Why not?
Well, I guess.
I mean,
crazier things.
Like, well, the dad chases him, right? And then he fucking smacks the dad.
Then goes and grabs the.
Well, no. Then the wife's like, "Are you okay?" And then whack,
what
she's
happened
dead.
To Dad? What happened to Mom?
Yeah,
whack.
You know, and then
line him up.
Like, well, the mom probably walked out there with like, you know, the granddaughter.
Yeah.
Like, oh God, what's happening?
She was 7.
And then
she could have absolutely carried her. Yeah, that's true. All right.
I feel like this
stacks up.
Yeah. That bad pun.
Yeah, right. Oh, good. Man, fuck, I wish I had thought of that.
But I mean, to me, it seems like, oh shit, like, I gotta go. And then you're like freaking out, so you go in, you're like, man, I gotta calm the fuck down. I'm gonna get something to eat. It's fucking cold outside. I'm in the middle of someplace. I don't know where the fuck I'm going. I don't have any plans. I didn't plan on killing a family today. I'm gonna leave that dog alone.
Yeah.
You know what? I feel bad. I'm gonna feed the dog. I'm gonna feed the livestock.
Get the horse.
Okay. The sun's broke. You know, it's a little warmer outside. I'm gonna just skip on down the road.
I'm gonna get out of here.
And then I'm gonna go to America and kill people with an axe. Because I got a taste for it now.
Because now I like it. I got a taste for it.
But to me, it reads more like a series of really shitty events that kind of snowballed.
Yeah, not necessarily a planned serial killer, which is what they're basically kind of making it out to be. I kind of, now that you're saying that, it does make way more sense that it was an unplanned, oh shit moment.
He covered up the bodies. He hid the bodies.
Kind
of.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't,
Well, or he hid the bodies, but he was a really bad criminal. Or it was his first time, so he literally just
didn't John Wayne Gacy them or anything.
No.
But, I mean, it's either a fledgling serial killer at the beginning of their career, which... Or it's some dude who got caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. I would say probably a low IQ.
Yeah.
Got cornered, freaked out, and then you got, the special needs maid. Probably didn't handle the intruder situation correctly.
Now we're being PC. Fuck.
Well, I mean, come on, she's dead, dude. And then he killed the 2-year-old. I'm telling you, the 2 that died in the house were the first 2.
You think so?
Because he didn't move them.
It makes sense.
He didn't move them.
I mean, no, he didn't. You're right.
I mean, he at least arranged the bodies.
The way they said it, when I read it, is that it was the other way around. But how would they ever fucking know?
Yeah.
Unless there was blood on their shoes and they walked into the house, but they didn't mention that, and they would have mentioned it.
Yeah, they would have said there would have been a trail of footprints into the house.
Right. Dude was a size 10.
Right. And so there's like a weird respect for living animals, but yet not for humans, and like there's also like it's not like a fit of passion in the way that like the bodies aren't really desecrated.
True. There was only bludgeon to the head.
Right.
Blunt trauma to the head.
So to me this sounds like a situation that spiraled out of control. Someone, I'm guessing, with limited, intellectual.
Yeah. He was a dummy.
Yeah. I just didn't know how to deal with it. She's yelling, clink. And he probably, did he kill her with the mutter too? Or matter, or Maddox?
Matic.
Whatever
No,
the
I'm
fuck
saying
this
it
thing
wrong.
is.
Is it a Matic?
The fucking pickaxe. It would have been. Why don't you do the pickaxe killer in America with people's names we can fucking remember and a weapon we can understand?
Why not?
But anyway, did she get killed with the same weapon?
All four of the people in the mom, the dad, the daughter, and the 7-year-old.
I got that.
All four of them were killed with the same weapon. The maid.
And the baby.
Oh, the maid was too, but the baby was
Are we
not.
sure about that?
They said what I read, which everything you read on the fucking internet is true. So yes.
Okay, so either
I like your
but here's the thing,
I like your theory. It makes sense.
The idea that they say that the baby wasn't. I swear that feels more like a PR thing. They're like, so people aren't like, oh god,
oh baby.
They fucking hit the 2-year-old with the thing too.
They might.
Like, you don't choose a different bludgeoning weapon halfway through a kill spree.
Yeah. This is
like,
gonna be too
you're
violent.
you're like, I'm gonna put this down and hit him with a bat.
I don't want him to hurt.
And then pick it back up and kill the rest of the
bad.
family. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's true. Plus a 2-year-old with a Matic. This is a giant thing. Like, I hate to say it and be real gross, but his head probably would have just popped off or just.
You could go
disintegrated.
To me, the other direction. Well, maybe we did.
Yeah, that's true.
But
they don't have any photos of that.
Thank God. Yeah.
There is a photo. If you really want to Google in the barn of the
I've seen that.
Stacked up family. It's not bloody, but it's still disturbing.
Yeah.
Enough.
But okay. So it's one or two. Like if he started outside in the shed and worked his way inside. Okay. Why the fuck is the maid still in bed?
Oh, they actually said, and they did a test. I don't know who they are, by the way.
Yeah.
But
the Kaiser. I'm gonna keep bringing that up.
I despair. They did a test, like a scream test, where you couldn't hear screams anywhere on the property.
Okay.
Like from inside the barn, you couldn't hear screams outside in the house.
And what was her mental issue?
They said she was mentally and physically disabled.
Okay.
So and that's really all. And
okay.
I didn't do a specific research or search on Maria Baumgartner.
To me, just the first look at this case, the Maria Baumgartner, she had red flags all over because she was the variable in the situation.
Yeah.
Everything else had been copacetic. She gets there, 24 hours, everyone's dead. Okay, so
this was not like a wonderful family with the history of incest, and
dude, I'm not voting for these fucking people.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is
like standing up for.
But like,
Maria didn't do it.
If you're looking at like a murder case, you look at the one thing that's out of place, and the one thing that's out of place in this situation is the maid. And so maybe she did. Maybe she stumbled upon the fucking hidden person in the fucking attic, and then he goes on a kill spree because he's freaked out.
Yeah.
And maybe he's like Clive, the fucking inbred baby hunter that they've got living in the fucking,
Clive.
And he's just like, oh shit, I'm free, I'm killing everybody. But even that, man, even if that was the situation, there would have been a whole lot more damage done around the house. He'd have killed the fucking dog.
Yeah, he would have killed the dog.
You love the dog more than me. Time for Clive to kill.
Oh, Clive.
Yeah, I feel like any real good murderer needs a name like Clive.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And honestly, the fact that they didn't kill the dog. So before I became a father, and this is really, maybe it's twisted, but when I was watching a horror film, I always felt worse when the dog got killed.
Everyone does. That's why they do it. They put the dog death in a movie to fuck with you.
Like when I watched High Tension, and I'm like, Oh, dude, the dad's head got just ripped off. Fantastic. Oh, the dog.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, man. That was like the
I'm
roughest
fucking-
scene in Evil Dead, the remake. Like,
oh yeah.
you're like, everybody's like carving their faces off and stuff, and then the dog dies, and you're like, motherfucker.
Oh, man, I'm really
They
bummed.
got the dog.
Yeah, fuck, what a downer.
But I mean, I think that does say something about the psychology of people.
Mm.
I mean, even a farming community. Like, I mean, you got to look at a farming community as you look at livestock as money. Like, your survival in the winter is your livelihood.
For sure.
And so let's say on the offshoot that the animals were actually taken care of. I don't know what that actually means, as I'm not a farmer.
They were fed, I guess. Oh, whatever.
I mean, I don't like that as a fucking answer, that shit got taken care of. Like,
right.
that. I mean, I don't know how you substantiate that.
Fair enough.
But the fact that they're still alive, and the dog's still alive, while albeit tied up in the farm or
But
the
it seems
barn,
like it was tied up in the barn, like so that it didn't. I don't know.
It didn't catch
it
the.
didn't run away.
It didn't catch the bludgeoning. Like.
Yeah, I don't know why they would have tied it up actually.
So, to me, this
It
reads.
was an ankle biter, mind you. So maybe it just got fucking really annoying, and he wanted to go inside in peace.
To me, this whole situation screams wrong place, wrong time. Situation got out of hand, and the family got killed because, what was it? Fucking river runs through it, or no, Mice and Men, where you're like, oh, Carl, and fucking crushes the body. There's probably fucking two of them living in the fucking attic, and the fucking idiot comes down.
All right, new podcast. Let's fucking make our own because you're fucking way too good at this, and your story's way better than what I just read anyway. So, or at least your theories are.
Oh well, I mean, I just logically, that's how I would.
That's how you would do it.
Well, not that how I would do it, but that's what makes sense. Like looking at the fact
I'll give you that it does make a lot of sense the way you're putting it.
I mean, it doesn't seem like the neighbor did it. Because if the
it's
neighbor
too
was
obvious.
pissed, he would have burned the fucking
Yeah.
farm to the ground.
I will say I kind of, and this is fucked up. I'm saying this, but I kind of wanted it to be Carl because the idea of dude faked his own death to come back and get revenge.
I get it.
That's a cool fucking story. But sadly,
But I mean, that could have been the fucking story. The maid catches Carl in the fucking attic.
That's true.
And then he's like, oh, 2-year-old, bang! Oh, I feel bad. Dad's downstairs. I'm going to run outside. The dad chases him. He hits him with the fucking
Definitely,
thing.
Carl would have motive to kill the kids because they weren't his kids from his wife. And, I mean, there's a fit of
I mean, to
jealous
me...
rage. There you go.
To me...
And maybe it was his dog initially, so he didn't want to kill the dog.
Okay, like, I don't give a shit about the footprints. The footprints, to me,
I
like... That, I mean, I know, but that's like one of the key things that from this story.
They did
There's
mention
one
a lot.
set of
And
footprints.
they were leading to the
in.
house and not out.
Yeah, there's a fuck. All right. Fuck.
It was Jesus.
Yeah.
And he was carrying the footprints.
When there's troubled times, there's only one set of footprints. Like, no.
Fuck.
Like, I don't give a shit about that. To me, those footprints could have been walking away from the fucking house.
Walking backwards?
Come on, dude. This is 1920s fucking Germany.
But all shoes are shaped the fucking
They're
same.
fucking round. And like, all right, man, that's got to be going to the house. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, he could have been walking away from the fucking house, like, after he gets done on his murder spree.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I mean, I'm not saying that it's not the maybe dead fucking son-in-law coming back, like I just want to be with my wife and kid. Like,
I don't think that's it. I can't remember why they actually ruled it out for something.
That he was dead?
Well, no, they never found somebody who they actually trusted said that they had witnessed him die. But anyway, that I just was saying. Yes, I was just saying. I wish that had been the story because, in my opinion, that would have been way more exciting.
I feel like if it was a fit of rage, there would have been a lot more collateral damage in the house. Like,
it's fair.
This seems like an accident that just continued to spiral.
All right, I'll buy it.
Okay. Well, I mean, we cracked it.
We cracked fucking case.
Fucking almost 100-year-old unsolved cold case. We cracked it with a jaunty conversation that clocks in at under 45 minutes.
Note to self.